Hi, my name is Bailey Strasser, and I am currently a sophomore at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. My current major is Public Relations with a minor in Communication Studies. My presentation today is going to be on a case study on ESPN and Bleacher Report, which are two of the biggest sports organizations in the world, and I'm going to be explaining how social media incorporates these two competing organizations. So, ESPN was founded by Bill Rasmussen in 1979, and later ABC and Disney took over the company later in 1991. Ever since then, ESPN has had their own television network where they have several programming for viewers to watch, such as College Game Day and SportsCenter. They also have their website and their app. Their app has been downloaded by 70 million people and 2 million active users. It is the most downloaded sports app. People usually use it to check scores and articles that people write on there, as well as stream games. Bleacher Report, on the other hand, was started by 4 college students in 2005, and the company TBS bought it in 2012. They recently created an app, however, the reviews may have not been the greatest. They also have the ideal that they can stream games on the app, but you have to pay more money than ESPN and, of course, your network provider. They are also highly criticized and more criticized than even ESPN. The first company that I'm going to be talking about today is Facebook. Facebook is one of the biggest social media companies, and both Bleacher Report and ESPN use it regularly to engage with their audience, however, in many different ways. They post frequently and engage their followers' attention. They do, however, post mostly the same or similar material that Twitter posts. One of the biggest differences is that ESPN has way more of a following than Bleacher Report. ESPN has about 11 million more likes and followers. ESPN posts a lot about the games and what happens during the games. However, BNR posts more things than just the games, and more things that ESPN really wouldn't post, because BNR likes to be more humorous than serious. ESPN just posts about articles or statements a player might say. Bleacher Report might put a video, for example. The new Seattle Seahawks wide receiver, DJ Metcalf, had his shirt off when he met his coach and staff for the first time, and Seattle Seahawks coach Pete Carroll took his shirt off too as a joke. Now, Twitter is in the same situation as Facebook because several users follow ESPN and Bleacher Report on Twitter as well. As I stated in the last slide, ESPN and Bleacher Report post mainly the same and similar things Facebook does. They are very consistent in their tweets as well, as they both currently have over 100,000 tweets. ESPN has a larger following with 33.9 million. That is actually the 40th highest following page on Twitter, where only BNR only has 8 million. Both applications have in their bio to say to download their app because they want to promote their brand and get money due to the success of their free apps. The big difference is that ESPN doesn't take athletes and Bleacher Report does. Now, I do not know why, but I feel like ESPN wants to respect players' privacy. But by taking athletes, that also sponsors them, and it also can give them a huge boost in followings and support. When it comes to taking athletes, Bleacher Report does an extremely better job at it because in most of their reports, they always tag the athlete. Bleacher Report seems not to care, and they'd like to post things whenever they want, when ESPN prefers to keep it safe. Bleacher Report will post things that may be controversial. For example, a picture stating that the Boston Celtics went 0 out of 4 after ESPN analyst and former Boston Celtic Paul Pierce said that the series was over after the Celtics destroyed the Milwaukee Bucks Game 1. And of course, we all know how that ended, where the Bucks were able to win the series 4-1. Pinterest is an application that was used by both ESPN and Bleacher Report. However, the use of Pinterest has decreased throughout the years. Bleacher Report currently has more followers than ESPN at the moment. ESPN's last pin was made 3 years ago, and Bleacher Report's last pin was made only a year ago, which makes sense why Bleacher Report still has more followers. ESPN does not have any boards, and Bleacher Report only has 22. YouTube is used regularly by ESPN because of their ability to post several videos of analysts discussing several topics. Mostly the videos that they post are the things that happen on their show. ESPN has 5.5 million subscribers with an average of 3 billion views per week. They talk about several things going on. For example, how Giannis Antetokounmpo as a player now, and if he is the MVP of the league this year. Now, Bleacher Report doesn't post many things about what analysts say. However, they do post several videos that they post on several different of their other social media sites. For example, they have a cartoon show called Game of Zones, which is a copycat of HBO's hit show Game of Thrones about basketball and the style of Game of Thrones, where they mention things that happened this year. Snapchat is used only by ESPN and not Bleacher Report. ESPN uses Snapchat daily and has several subscribers. ESPN is different because they post videos that look like you were there in the action. For example, basketball star LeBron James warming up courtside for the basketball game, and usually there is someone right there filming him, so it makes it look like that you're there watching him warm up. Basically, I think this is really important because people should know that the advances in today's social media and entertainment have changed, because everything that started back in 1979, where ESPN used to be a network, till now, where you'd be able to see all these really cool things that you would never have seen back then. It just makes it a huge advancement. Instagram is personally my favorite application out of all of them. Just like Facebook and Twitter, they post the same material except it is in the format of Instagram. ESPN currently has 12 million followers, and Bleacher Report currently has 9 million followers. The big difference is that Instagram has Instagram Story, which of course is the same thing as Snapchat Story. ESPN uses the videos that they have on Snapchat and also puts it on their Instagram Story, which is one of the biggest differences. Because Bleacher Report does not have Snapchat, they instead decide to use fan interaction, and they create polls where fans get to vote, for example, who someone thinks is going to win the next basketball game. Now, there are several things that are similar with Bleacher Report and ESPN. First off, they do post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram frequently, all similar posts. They do like to interact with their audience in several ways. And they both love to promote their app on their bio, which is obviously the big way that they like to get money. Now, both have a strong following on their social media networks, and both do not use Pinterest like they used to. Bleacher Report and ESPN over time showcase how social media in sports has changed over the period. And those are big similarities in both the two networks. Now, ESPN and Bleacher Report have several differences in their applications. Now, ESPN has more followers and posts on all their accounts except Pinterest due to ESPN quitting to use Pinterest a while back than Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report, on the other hand, does not use Snapchat, and ESPN likes to promote audience interaction. ESPN talks more about what people think and analysts think about athletes. Bleacher Report posts more controversial media. For example, they posted a video clip of Family Guy of Peter Griffin hunting deer, and they put the image of the head of Celtics point guard Kyrie Irving over Peter Griffin's head, and the video was that the deer did a surprise attack on Kyrie Irving, stating how the Milwaukee Bucks have destroyed the Boston Celtics. Of course, Bleacher Report likes to show their humor. Another big difference is that Bleacher Report tags the athletes, and ESPN does not do that often. And of course, on the app, ESPN, on their app, shows scores of sporting games, and Bleacher Report does not. So in conclusion to this presentation, both the social media sites are effective and they use social media extremely well. Now ESPN is huge of a sports network that everyone knows of, and BNR did start not too long ago. They are the two largest sports networks currently in the world, and ESPN and Bleacher Report post several videos that keep audiences engaged on their social media pages: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, and so on. Before I end today's presentation, I'd like to say a couple recommendations of the two sites. Now, both of the sites of Bleacher Report and ESPN start needing to use Pinterest more because a lot of people still use Pinterest, and there's a lot of people that probably want to look at sports pictures that are very current. And if they have more pins and boards, people are actually going to look at it. Next up, going on to Bleacher Report, they need to start using Snapchat, since it's basically the #1 used app for millennials. If they use Snapchat, then they could actually use that material and put that on their Instagram story, since Instagram is, in my opinion, their highest following page. Also, Bleacher Report needs to start updating their app. They need to start putting on things that are appealing to the eye, just like scores of games and more articles that, people would say. On ESPN, I believe ESPN needs to start tagging athletes. I feel like if they want to respect their privacy, they can do that, but if they want to gain a huge amount of respect, they should start tagging athletes. In all terms of everything, I do believe ESPN is better to use than Bleacher Report because ESPN is a popular network. They've been around. They have a TV network, their own TV network. They have an app that is the most downloaded sports app, and they have several shows that are actually on, and ESPN basically airs basketball, they air College Game Day, they air everything. And that's how most people get their information. Now, Bleacher Report needs to start doing that and taking things more seriously. Of course, a lot of people do think Bleacher Report actually is part of ESPN, but they're not. And in importance, I believe that Bleacher Report needs to take social media more serious. They can post all the humor they want, but in my opinion, Bleacher Report, if they want to be on par with ESPN, they need to have their own network. Thank you for being a kind audience, and I hope this presentation helped you in any way to understand more about ESPN and Bleacher Report and why I believe ESPN is a better application to use.